witchlings, welcome back to my channel. It's me, your local chaotic witch aunt. I have spent 20 minutes taking every single book that my family has in this apartment to stack underneath this camera so you can see me pretty well. I know the top of my head is cut off. I'm gonna see if I can slap. I'm sure there's another fucking book somewhere. Oh. What the fuck are you doing, Cam? Hello? And I am so excited. This is a very special video. If you follow me on other platforms like Instagram or Twitter, you've seen me hinting at a very special announcement. I have been working on something for over a year now. It's been under wraps, in cahoots. I've kind of mentioned it a little bit on some of the podcasts I've been on, but this is the actual official announcement, and you will be seeing an official announcement on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok as well. But I wrote a book. Very exciting. I know that you hear a lot of like witchcraft creators be like, I wrote a book, buy it. But writing a book has been my dream since I was like a kid. I worked very hard on this book, and I'm gonna ask Sally to put the cover right here. It is called Spells for Change. I believe it's Spells for Change, a modern guide to witchcraft, or a witch's modern guide to witchcraft. None of that sounds right. So I don't think that's it's probably gonna say it right there, and I'm gonna be like, oh, that's it. But it is coming out in the UK in October of 2020, and you can now pre-order it if you want. I have a link down below that'll take you to a landing page, and you can buy it from wherever you want. I'm very excited. A lot of people have been like, Frankie, what's the book about? It's a very weird name. I like the name. But I wrote this book basically to be a foundation, or help someone create a foundation for making a practice in witchcraft. You can pick it up as a beginner, you can pick it up as someone who's never heard of witchcraft before and wondering what the hell are these witch talkers talking about, and you will get, in my opinion, the basics for creating a foundation, a non-religious foundation, a practical application to becoming a witch. It goes over a lot of things. It goes over tools, herbs, crystals. I talk about protection, cleansing, banishing, binding. I talk about witchcraft and activism, desettling your practice, the importance of activism and its history throughout witchcraft. And I overall, talk about how to create change in your life and your day-to-day and your practice through witchcraft. I wrote the book that I needed when I was a 16-year-old first starting the craft. There were no books that you could really point at and say, this is a really good beginning book if you're looking for something that's non-religious, it doesn't have any Wiccan influences, it's not coming from a point of like trying a specific path. And while I am a folk witch and I did pull some aspects of the book from that, for the most part I tried to take a very general, basic approach that anyone can take and apply into their practice no matter where they are. And this is, like I said, this is the book that I needed, because I started off with Cunningham, and Cunningham definitely gave me a very Wiccanized view of witchcraft starting off. I worked really hard on it. I'm really excited. It is my baby. And of course there's that anxiety that comes with, oh, I wrote a book. My first book. Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. There's so much anxiety that comes with that, but I hope you know that this is a book that I created in hopes that people will read it and give me criticism and tell me how I can do better. That's the announcement on Nemoralia. If you pre-order a copy of my book, Spells for Change, you will be able to enter a chance to get a tarot reading with me, which I don't know if you know, but my tarot readings have been on a hiatus since like June. I haven't been offering them to anyone, so this is a really great opportunity if you've been looking to get a reading from me, etc. And if you're interested, you can go on to Instagram and read more. So that's a special announcement. Anyways, now we're going to be talking about Nemoralia. This is the holiday of August 13th. That is today. So if you aren't aware what Nemoralia it's a festival of Diana. Nemoralia, also known Nemoralia, is a festival for Diana, also known as the Festival of Torches. It was typically celebrated August 13th to the 15th in ancient Rome, and I believe that it was celebrated before them because Lake of Nemi's cult of Diana was very separate from Rome. How it was traditionally done is basically there would be feasts in Diana's name, people would carry torches all around the Lake of Nemi, and Women would put flowers in their hair. Diana as a goddess, you know, is very complex. And I say that because I feel like I've seen a lot of people write off Diana and Artemis as the same, when Diana had a lot of worship in Rome pre-Hellenic influence, and there are links between her and the Mother Matuta. One of her epithets is trivia, which existed before Hellenic influences. So there's the crossroads aspect and an underworld aspect of her. Diana Triformis. Diana is the triple goddess. Before, you know, we kind of got into Ovid. Ovid. All my homies hate Ovid. She was seen as, you know, Diana of the underworld, Diana of the wood, Diana Nemorensis, and Diana of the sky. She wasn't necessarily seen as Diana, Selene, and Hecate. Those two Grecian elements, of course, came in with that mixture of and syncretization of Rome and Greece. But Diana existed before these Hellenic influences in a lot of different ways. Cult of Nemi is one of the ideas that, you know, I pull from when we talk about this. But Nemoralia is a holiday that, you know, celebrates her as a wonderful goddess. But Diana was a lot of things. She was, you know, a goddess, a celestial goddess of the stars, not just the moon, the stars. The whole sky was hers. She's goddess of the wood, of the hunt. She's a protector of women, and she's also a protector of slaves and the poor. It is said that her, I believe her temple was, the priest was either as a freed or escaped slave. And in order for a new priest to be chosen, a new freed slave would have to take a branch from a very specific tree and beat the priest to death. So if that doesn't speak to the certain level of, I think, harshness that Diana holds, I don't know what does. But her temple, I believe one of her temples was also seen as a refuge for women and slaves and the poor. And the day of Nemoralia was seen as a day that women would take off, slaves would take off, they would not have to work, so they could celebrate Diana as their protector and their goddess. Nemoralia is a holiday that actually was syncretized or taken, and this is why I talk about sometimes the kind of conflation or overlap, so to speak, of Diana with Mary, Mother Mary, Saint Mary. The Assumption of Mary is now on August 15th, which is originally one of the days that Nemoralia took place. So when the Catholic Church came in, they would strategically place their holidays close to the holidays of the Roman pagans and the Grecian pagans in order to try to influence them to celebrate the Christian holidays instead of the Roman holidays. So of course there are a bunch of things that happen with the Assumption of Mary that still kind of reflect Nemoralia. I've heard of people going to the wood and making offerings, people with flowers in their hair, and that's not everywhere. This may just be in Italy as well, but there's definitely that kind of Nemoralia was overtaken and overshadowed by the Assumption of Mary. So if you want to celebrate the Assumption of Mary, instead of Nemoralia, that's completely fine. I don't know if you know this, but I wear a Saint Mary pendant in honor of Diana because to me, this is my belief, to me, Mother Mary or Saint Mary is one of Diana's forms. It is one of the, it's almost like one of her epithets. It's one of the ways she comes to us and appears to us as a goddess, as not only a mother goddess, a protector of women, of childbirth, etc., but a goddess who is pure, virginal, chaste. And Mary and Diana, to me, are two sides of the same coin, and this especially has to do with, you know, Italian folk magic and how those kind of intertwine and how worship of Diana and Mary tend to look similar. Of course, Saint Mary isn't the only saint that Diana was associated with. She's also associated with Saint Rita. Like I mentioned earlier, the Mother Matuta, which if you aren't aware of what the Mother Matuta is, I will open up my fancy little computer. Hope you can hear that typing. She was an indigenous Latin goddess, and the Romans eventually made equivalent to the dawn goddess Aurora. She's an old Italian goddess of dawn. She's a protectress of fertility and birth. So, love the Mother Matuta. So the Mother Matuta and Diana do have some intertwinings. Just like Diana has intertwinings with Artemis, Diana has intertwinings with Juno, Diana has intertwinings with Saint Mary. There's a lot that Diana is and a lot that Diana isn't. But I find that Diana tends to be a lot more. So Nemoralia is her holiday. It is a day of celebrating her, and while traditionally, you know, the Festival of Torches would take place at the Lake of Nemi in Rome, or outside Rome, there are ways for you to celebrate it here at home as a Diana devotee or a patron of Diana's, etc. For me personally, I love being near water with her, visiting lakes, bringing a candle. Make sure you clean up the candle. You can also dedicate the day to volunteering at an animal shelter, working with dogs, because dogs were sacred to Diana. You can also go work at another shelter, homeless shelter, and volunteer there, because like Diana's patronage, she looks over those who are considered poor or don't have a home, which is why her temple was considered refuge. So if you want to, Diana is a goddess of the hunt. You can technically go hunting if you want in her honor. I'm not a hunter. I just kind of vibe. But you can do that. For me personally, we have a fountain in my new backyard, and I'm going to be setting up, and we're going to be turning on the fountain and placing candles around it in honor of her, and I'm going to place some flowers in the water, just to, almost like a ritual to invite her into the new space, into the new home, let her know she's welcome. She is very heavily tied to me and also to my mother. So, and I'll also probably be spending a lot of the time with my dogs, taking them for walks, maybe going on a hike outside in nature. Diana is not just, you know, huntress, etc. She's Diana of the wood. So spending time outside in nature, going for a hike, connecting with the land you're on, cleaning up the land you're on is also a really great way to connect with Diana on Nemoralia. You can also put flowers in your hair, create a flower garland. That's something that Diana is, you know, they would famously do on Nemoralia as well. And I will be starting today, August 13th, probably with the fountain ritual, and be doing some other stuff for 2 days. You can also give a feast to Diana, give her food, give her lots of offerings. There are a lot of foods that traditionally Diana was offered. I don't know them off the top of my head, but you can research them, and a lot of times when you research associations or things Diana was given, you will notice that there is a lot of overlap with Artemis, and that is because of the Hellenic influences kind of becoming the sole influences that we have. And that's based off of like one particular poet or artwork is why Diana is seen as completely syncretized with Artemis. But overall, I am very excited for Nemoralia. I am excited to invite Diana into the home. I haven't been connecting with her, I think, as much as I would like since I got to Colorado, and that's mostly because I'm locked up in an apartment and I'm stressed and I'm tired. But there are so many different ways to worship Diana and to honor her on this day, and genuinely, if you were just beginning working with her, I would say go with your gut. Do you feel like taking a hike with her is going to be the best option? Do you feel like cooking for her is going to be the best option? You can also, instead of like a fountain or a lake, you can take a bowl of water and just stand with a candle over it. They would traditionally walk around the lakes. You can walk around the bowl of water. I know that seems a little weird, but if you really want to get into like traditional Nemoralia celebrations, the Festival of Torches, a lot of candles. Lot of candles. Fire hazard. Oh gods. Yeah, make sure you practice fire safety. Please. Thank you. So after you see this, a few things have happened. One, it's August 13th. You have the announcement, it's Nemoralia. 2, I am now 23. I am not 23 right now, but I will be 23 when you're seeing this. My birthday is on Wednesday. I'm 23, which is so exciting and so crazy. Didn't think I would be 23 in Colorado. But I'm doing a lot of fun things that day, doing some collabs, going up to a mountain town, and I'm so excited. But yeah, let me know if you're interested in learning more about Diana. I will be doing another video talking about working with Artemis and working with Diana and the differences to me personally as well as historically. But you will be seeing lots of fun new content coming as I'm kind of getting used to Colorado, meeting with friends, etc. And yeah, I think that's all I have for you guys today. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to leave them down below. You can leave a like, you can comment, subscribe, turn the bell on, but absolutely no pressure. And I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Don't forget to drink water. Sa benedica.